Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and welcome to the studio. McFarland's Corner, we call it. I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide, and I'm going to give you guys a free public fishing report for Lake Fork right here for Thanksgiving weekend. All right, lake conditions, it's Tuesday. The lake conditions are excellent. We are basically 400.65 at elevation, which is about 2 foot 3 inches below full pool. Really just a tad more. 0 to 1 clarity and 60s, the low 60s, 60 to 63 degrees. What I can tell you about this temperature parameter right here, that 60 to 63, realistically, in the fall when we're dropping, getting cooler, when we get right at that, really 58, 62 range, these fish fire up on shad. They really do fire up on shad. There'll be a bigger feast on shad when the water drops below 49 because there's a shad kill-off. That's a different thing altogether. But right now, backwaters, shallow. Look for birds, look for white egrets, look for blue herons, watch flickering bait, move. Keep your boat going until you run into some fish. Definitely be around some vegetation if you can. Fall vegetation is excellent. Shad love it. But the bass are gorging on shad. That's the one thing I can tell you. So, depending on how you like to fish for them in the shallow water, if you're around heavy vegetation, you're going to need weedless type baits. If you're in open water, more wood type things, you can kind of go more to the square bills and open hook type things. Swim baits, underspins, swim jigs. You might still even find a top water bite. Okay, we've had a great top water season through September and October. November, it kind of was there, but it was just big fish. Didn't catch a lot of little fish in November on the top water, but big fish. We're still at the end of November, and realistically, this is a temperature that the bass spawn winter and spring. So shallow, move. Probably end up being, in my opinion, more in the northern ends of the lakes. And then a couple things. Look, this is a free public channel. So through the year, I try and give you as much good information as I can, withholding some of the details. And when I mean the details, I mean, the juice. So if you're really interested in more information, there is the members only channel that you can subscribe to. It's only $4.99 a month for the whole month. And look, here's the deal. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm going to give you a demonstration of what the members get, what you don't get right now. All right. So what the members get in addition to this channel is basically the identification of exactly the baits that we've been throwing, what's working, how we're doing it, and where the key locations are. So, as I said, shallow. The best locations right now, honestly, are on the east side. If you'll go up and halfway back in any one of the main creeks there, Glade, Coffee, Running, or Oil Well, and start fishing the edges of that vegetation. Again, look for bait. Swim jigs, really good. Lily pads, through the lily pads. Find lily pads over there. Get yourself up in there with maybe even, believe it or not, a friend of mine had about 13 blowups on a frog just a few days ago. Buzz frogs, but remember, think shad, underspins. When in doubt, listen, if there's a cold front, and that's what we face right now is cold fronts. When in doubt, you're struggling, to trap it out. Trap will catch you fish around vegetation. It just does. Get it caught up in the vegetation, sometimes snap it. I like the little silver blue back, the small bait still this time of year. And remember that if it's cloudy, real cloudy, then black and gold. Make sure something gold is in there. If we have some storms and it gets muddy, actually, and as the water gets colder, we get into the, say, 55 range, and I switch down to the reds, the chili bowl reds. This one here is called green tomato. But your traps, trap it out in the wintertime. Square bills. Last year in November, this was my favorite deal right here. This Fritz Side 5 right here is a perfect shallow water square bill, perfect search bait. Running these two different colors in case you got funky fish like fork. Some days they want one color, the next days it'll be the other. So I've got a crawfish color, I've got a chartreuse blueback. I'm going to incorporate that with some kind of a spinnerbait, and I'm going to go. I cover lots of water. Starting, say, the mouths of the coves, working my way 2/3 of the way back. but really paying attention to birds, right? Where those birds are is where the bait is. And here's members only kind of tip. So back in October, the birds were spending a lot of time about halfway back in any pocket, drain, creek, didn't matter what side of the lake you were on. And they would hang out on the boathouses. So the boathouses that had the most poop, that meant they spent time there. So there was 10 poops on a birdhouse. That told me the section of the lake or the section of that arm that the birds were spending the most time in. I didn't have to find the birds themselves. I could find the bird poop, fish those areas, and find great success. And one of my clients, in fact, even made a joke that was fishing with me. He said, man, I'm going to go home and tell my friends that you got us on a very shitty pattern. But anyways, you can see now that the members get a lot more detail. On the west side, I really like running up into birch, those first few pockets before the 514 bridge. And then, of course, when you go up above the 514, there's some good water to the north there that's sheltered from good north winds. Great place to go. Again, with right now finding the little edge of vegetation in 2 to 4 foot of water. Okay, finally, I got a nice pond in my home, and been fishing just a little bit here with my grandkids and whatnot lately. And I have found that in my pond, they're wanting just a little tiny Cinco, like a 4-inch or a 5-inch. I'm using the 6 cents. Doesn't matter what Cinco. But the key was the watermelon red when the sun is real shiny and blue skies, and then something darker like a black and blue or just a green pumpkin blue, but no red flake if there's no sun. I am using the Real-Time Rod's Magic Reaction. I believe that smell makes them hold it a lot longer. In fact, they'll swallow it in most cases with this Real-Time Rod Magic Reaction treatment on your stuff. And you know, that's kind of the gist of it's working really good in my pond, so I take it to the lake. In my pond, I use it weightless. It's a very shallow pond, all vegetation. I mean, there's some deep water. But at the lake, I'm actually pegging it, Texas rig, with a 1/4 ounce tungsten. I'm fishing in brush piles in about 10 to 15 feet of water, and laydowns of trees in 10 to 12, 14 feet of water on points. All right. So there, guys, there's a public report. Kind of give it to you as a Thanksgiving gift. I want you guys to have a great weekend. Some of you may be hunting, some of you may be fishing. Remember this, in the Members Only channel, we give reports like this for a bunch of other lakes. We cover Ray Hubbard. We cover, I've got my list here. We cover Ray Hubbard, Possum Kingdom, Lavon, Tawakoni, Palestine, Athens, Bodark, Welsh, Hawkins, and more. So if you want even more details, then I am going to invite you to subscribe to my Members Only channel. It's really easy. Look at the description below this video. Click on members. Come join us. It's $4.99 a month. You get 8 fishing reports. Most of the time, 8 fishing reports, 2 a week. And details. All right. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you found this good. Comment below. Again, I wish you all very, very happy Thanksgiving and the best fishing. You know what? Let's back up and add just a little more flavor. Thanksgiving flavor. I forgot the dessert. The dessert is we give you the crappie report. Some of you just might like to go crappie fishing on Fork through the holidays. And Jackie Wiggins, he says the winter fishing is kicking in big and the bigger fish have been showing off. What he says is the crappie fishing right now is good in tons of shad are showing up in the deeper water in the main lake sections, 36 to 56 feet. That's winter. They're getting near winter. The crappie are following the bait fish and beginning to stack up in those areas and timber and brush. Huge groups of fish. Big white crappie in the middle sections of the timber. You can still find groups of black crappie at different depths. Some of the black crappie are grouped up in bases of trees at 13 to 18 feet, close to those deep water areas, but then the fish are moving. They're out offshore. The jig bite's been pretty good, and hand-tied jigs are really starting to come around as well, getting away from the minnows, summer minnows, and white chartreuse and purple has been, white and chartreuse and purple and gray have been the best. Some soft plastics, they'll get you bit a little when the fish are really aggressive. As the water gets cooler, that soft plastics will really step it up. And then Jackie also gives us a catfish report. He says, as always, just go chum the timber. Go put some cattle cubes or sour maize in 18 to 25 feet in the edge of, say, a creek swing in some timber. Come back a few hours later or the next day and fill your catfish up. I mean, fill your freezer up with catfish. All right? Happy Thanksgiving.